Okay, welcome to the February 2026 meeting. Thank you for continuing to follow the progress of the cooperative. We'll start off with the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? And all of those in favor, raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so motion carries 4-0. Next item is the board governance guidebook.
Thank you. So I think it's important to acknowledge historic challenges in some areas, but I know it's even more important to move forward. So tonight you're going to see on the agenda several things that are related. Some of these are the result of a year's worth of work that were cumulative and we're at critical milestones. So looking forward to making good progress with that. There are a lot of things on the agenda, so I'm going to do my part to make us as efficient as possible and to respect your time. And we're going to start that with the Board Governance Guidebook. So over the past year, as you're aware, the board's been doing important work to clarify and strengthen how governance functions at Tri-County Electric. This has included clarifying roles, tightening expectations, reducing unnecessary risk for the cooperative, for the board as a whole, as well as individual board members. Tonight represents the conclusion of that work. And this is about clarity going forward, not necessarily revisiting the past. Historically, board governance guidance, it may have existed in different places. Some of it was very formal, some of it was less formal. And at times, over the 86-year history of the cooperative, it may have been applied inconsistently, which is not unusual for an organization that's almost 100 years old, but it did create some potential for confusion. This governance guidebook, it consolidates all the expectations of the board into one single coherent framework. It's one place, one standard, one source of authority. It covers the full scope of board governance, including conduct, ethics, conflicts of interest, confidentiality, communications, elections, compensation, records access, meeting decorum, and ongoing governance development. These policies are intentionally practical. They're not aspirational statements, but they are enforceable, and they're standards designed to protect the cooperative, the board as a whole, as well as individual directors. They align very well with your D&O coverage, fiduciary responsibilities, bylaws, and state requirements. So the way it all works is the resolution before the board is what gives it its authority. It formally adopts policies 1 through 11 for the controlling body of the board governance. It also repeals prior governance materials, so there's no confusion in the future about which standards to apply. And most importantly, it also preserves existing financial delegation where applicable, as the board is willing to do so. But I need to be very clear about what this is not. It's not punitive, reactive, or retroactive. It is written and forward-facing intentionally to be a governance reset. It provides clarity, consistency, and shared expectations among all board members to continue the work of the board. So the recommendation before the board is the adoption of the Board Governance Guidebook and the repeal of prior governance policies as presented.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second? And second by Dawn. Do we have any more discussion?
Just a comment. Thanks for the effort you put in to wrangle the project administratively and take the feedback and make it standard. And in a couple cases, you found some duplicates. So thanks for your effort.
Appreciate it. I think we're in a good spot.
Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
So motion carries 4-0. Cooperative giving update.
So next, I'm pleased to present an update made possible by one of our lenders, by CoBank. So I want to share this cooperative giving update with you. Cooperative giving is only possible through the support of cooperative members, employees, and corporate partners. Tri-County Electric is grateful to be able to lend even more members a helping hand thanks to CoBank and its $15,000 donation. the largest contribution to cooperative giving ever.
It is an awesome program that has come across. It has helped many of our members.
The donation will be delivered to Texas Neighborhood Services, which will continue to disperse cooperative giving funds to qualifying members. In 2025, $50,000 was sent to Texas Neighborhood Services to support Tri-County Electric members.
I really truly believe in the cooperative giving program because I've seen firsthand how it helps members. As a contact center representative, I have one member that comes to mind. His service got disconnected and I directed him, walked him through filling out that application. They were able to get him approved same day and he was able to get his power restored. He requires electricity for his medical equipment. That just reinforced why I know that it's important that it's out there.
We're thankful for the generous support of members, employees, and corporate partners who've already contributed to cooperative giving. Please visit our website for all the ways you can help your neighbor. So we do appreciate CoBank for their contribution to cooperative giving. Look forward to a great partnership with them. And with your permission, we'll move on to the Directors, Officers, and Managers Liability Application. So there's some information in your board packets about that. And I'm going to read a few of the statements on the application. We'll give you some context and background first. Obviously on a board, there's more of you and one of me. So I want you to know what I know. Myself and the officers of the cooperative have completed the same questionnaire you just answered, and those were unanimous. But I think that's necessary because I don't know what you know, and you may not know what I know. So this protects everybody who's covered by this policy, but making sure we're all putting everything we know out there for the insurance company. So I want to go through about 3 or 4 things in the application just to show you how seriously they take it. And hopefully our response is commensurate. So in the opening paragraph, it's all capital letters. It's kind of yelling at us, but the last sentence is, please read the entire application before signing. So you're going to come down, you're going to see question 17, which is what you've all prepared a response to. Again, myself and the officers of the cooperative have all also answered that question in that manner right there. But if there is an answer yes, details are requested. You'll also notice on question number 22, and I think any good survey, usually they ask a similar concept, a couple different ways to see, make sure they're covering the entire intent. So you can see in question 22, there's almost the opposite angle of question 17, and there's several universals in here. It is agreed that any claim or action arising from negligence, error, or omission, or breach of duty, or is independent, which is known by any director, trustee, or corporate officer, prior to the issuance of the policy will be excluded from coverage. So this is them definitely waving the flag, and we have to say yes for them to issue the coverage. It's us acknowledging that if somebody stepped outside the bounds of the things like your governance handbook, they would not be covered personally, even though you and the cooperative would be. Then I've highlighted some statements down here in the closing paragraph, which again is all capital letters, very bold language, just to remind us of how serious it is and to take our due diligence seriously and put forth a good faith effort here, which I feel like everybody has done at this point. So you've heard that the cooperative officers have all answered it, as I showed you on the screen there. And at this time, if there are no questions, I'm happy to take up your responses to 17. And I intend to execute our application early next week and give it to the insurance company for the plan year that should begin in April of 2026 and go for a year. So that concludes our directors, officers, and managers liability application, which will be executed early next week. So the next topic I wanted to go over is some updates that we put into place in 2024. One of the things that was important to me coming in was that management's held to a higher standard. I started with myself, and so in your board materials, you see something that I created that I was the first to execute, and it's done every year. I give you that one for me, just so you can see that and I can have that accountability, or you can have that accountability for me. But we've taken it a step further every year. This year, in addition to me and the executive team, all managers are signing that exact same form, and they will continue to do so every year going forward. It's just a higher bar for conflicts of interest. It's more visibility, but it didn't really start there. If you go out to our website for the past almost 2 years now, we've got this section out here for our vendors where they can see section 5.9 of the employee handbook. And there's a lot of information in there that vendors can see, members, everybody can see, that says vendors, gifts, things of influence, or goods and services are not allowed. And so that's very important to us that we send the right signal to vendors. Well, this year we've actually taken a step further from that. We've also put a vendor conflicts of interest statement out that large vendors in the future will also have to execute. That's similar in structure to what the executive team has already been signing. It's similar in spirit to what board members have designed in your own conflicts of interest. It's designed to let them know very explicitly these types of activities are not allowed. And so you can look at that at your leisure later. But it's a strong signal to them to do business with us. They have to execute this document. We have to keep it on file. For existing vendors that we do any significant business with, we're starting with them going retroactively. So those are going out this winter. And then going forward, any new business will be covered under that. I recently summarized all this information for employees so they know what the management team is signing. They know what we're trying to do. I'd like to share that message with you if I can, please. Welcome to the Minute, where we keep it real and we make this fast. I'm going to take just a moment to reinforce something we talked about in last week's management team meeting, and that's the principle of stewardship. Stewardship isn't just about finances and assets. It's also about the environment and the culture we work in, the decisions we make, and how we protect each other from pressures that just shouldn't exist. You're going to see an email from me hitting your inbox about the same time as this video. That message explains two things and how they're connected. First, we've posted a vendor conflict of interest and ethical conduct certification on our website. This isn't a new philosophy. It's a clear extension of expectations that have already been in place since 2024. It makes it explicit that vendors may not offer favors, gifts, side work, or anything of value that could influence employee decisions or create pressure on employees. Secondly, you're also going to see our management conflicts of interest disclosures. Now, these are continuing. The leadership team members have completed these annually since 2024, and we recently certified our 2026 versions. Going forward, every management personnel will also do the same annually. And I'm going to emphasize one thing very clearly that we've all understood from a safety perspective. We talk a lot about stopping work if something feels unsafe, and the same idea applies here, not to physical safety, but to culture and integrity. Every employee has the authority to speak up. Every employee has the obligation to raise concerns, and every employee has the requirement to report them. If you ever see something that doesn't align with our conflict of interest or ethical standards, you're expected to speak up to your supervisor, your department head, or human resources, preferably two of the three, and escalate it further if any one of them may be involved. This is not about suspicion, and it's nothing personal. It is about clarity, consistency, and protecting the cooperative and each other from situations that just should never exist. This is a continuation of the stewardship mindset we're building together. I want to thank everyone for taking this seriously, and thank you for helping make Tri-County the kind of place we all want and expect it to be. Thank you. So obviously I can't be in all places at all times, nor is that reasonable. But what these efforts do, they signal to all employees the standards that's already in the employee handbook. It also signals to all employees that even higher bar that management has to hold when making decisions with vendors, things of that nature. It signals to the vendors, we take this extremely seriously. They're signing something and we're signing something. It raises the stakes. It's put it out there on the internet for everybody to see. So no, I can't stop everybody from doing anything rogue at any one time. But what I can do is put 300 people or more in the same light and give them an incentive to make sure they speak up. We can raise the stakes if somebody ever did make an unfortunate decision like that. We can reduce the odds of it ever happening. So this is more about prevention as well as mitigation should it happen. We're communicating very effectively with vendors on this topic. I think we may have gone a step or two too far. I'm not aware of other cooperatives that go this far, but I think it's a healthy line for us to take to avoid the appearance of getting familiar with a vendor or a subset of vendors and something like that. So just wanted to share that with you. I know that's employee handbook stuff. I know that's on the management side, but I think it's very consistent with what you all have also stepped up to the plate with your own board governance policies. And so now you can see that from all sides of the cooperative, we're headed in the same direction. And to me, that's encouraging for the future to know that we're building something and that those things probably are not going to occur, but if they do, they're going to be spelled out pretty quickly. So just wanted to share that with you. Didn't need any action on that. And again, mine is put in there about every January or so as those come up for renewal, just so you could see what that looks like. So next on the agenda, item number 7, the line of credit. As you're aware, a couple months ago, we talked about the lines of credit, and I'll often refer to that as plural. We have 2 lenders for which we have lines of credit. One of those was renewed a couple of months ago. The other ones come up this month. The advancements on this particular one, and I sent some information in advance here. This one's not going to charge any fees. This one's going to renew for 2 years, and this one's not going to reduce the amount. So those are 3 very powerful signals from a lender that they're obviously very well pleased with the progress of the cooperative. We're very thankful for that. A lot of work went into it, but those are 3 good benefits here that we're talking about with this particular lender. Also want to point out when we're talking about this line or these lines of credit, these are the lines, not the loans. So on the lines of credit right now, you saw in your financials at 12/31, there's about a $42 million balance on a $250 million lines of credit. So it's like less than a fourth used. So lines versus loans, the balance versus the facility, want to make that clear. But this particular authorization is included in your board materials. It's a 1-pager authorizing the renewal of the line that is up tonight. And so unless there are any questions, I would recommend renewing this line. Again, no fees, 2 years, very easy to work with, and they're going to leave the amount at 125. This particular lender has a 150 line with us. 125 is here, 25 is under a separate line with them. It's also very advantageous. So are there any questions about the lines from the material that was provided earlier? Questions? So I guess
Motion to approve.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt the line of credit renewal that is presented in this board packet here.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? And all those in favor? So motion carries 4-0.
I would ask the treasurer if you'll execute that for us. And we'll save this in board effect tomorrow as part of the February meeting records. Thank you very much. So if there are no more questions about the lines of credit, we'd like to end tonight where we usually begin with our cyber training. Again, this is something we do for management, employees. It's a good best practice, and it doesn't hurt with our insurance either. We do have an insurance policy covering these types of things. So I appreciate you guys supporting this on a monthly basis. So thank you all for participating in the monthly cyber training. If there are no further questions, that's the end of the regular agenda.
Thank you for joining us for the February 2026 open session of the meeting. Thank you and have a good evening. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, any more discussion? And all in favor?
Aye.
So motion carries 4-0.